it's US Angel. Today I wanted to talk to you about how to teach when you're not feeling well. Sometimes we get just a little sick and we really feel like our voice isn't quite clear enough to teach, or we can't move around enough to teach. And I wanted to give you a few little tips on how you might be able to make yourself feel better enough to go ahead and teach so that you do not end up canceling classes. Most of the time when teachers have to cancel a class because of illness, they are doing it within that 24-hour window where we will have a penalty. So if we can come up with some way to go ahead and teach the class and still give a quality lesson to the student, then it's to our benefit and the student's benefit that we do so. I have a list of a few that I wanted to kind of cover how I help myself get through when I am having some of these problems. The first one is it's a sore throat. And this is probably the easiest one. When I have a sore throat, there are throat sprays and lozenges and things like that, but I don't really like to use those. I usually just sip a hot tea with maybe a little bit of honey or something in it to help soothe the throat. And I try and make sure I do that right before I go into the class. And then I do it as soon as I get out of the class. I make sure that I get a little bit of a hot beverage in my throat in between each class when my throat is sore. If I am having a head cold, and that's the reason my throat is sore, I'll make sure and put a little bit of lemon in there because that helps break up the mucus and clear those things up on your vocal cords so that they're clearer. That brings me to the next thing, and that is the scratchy voice that comes with when you're first starting to lose your voice because of an illness like laryngitis, or when it's first starting to come back. There's not much you can do if your voice is gone. But when it's first starting and when it's starting to heal and you can talk again, but your voice just sounds off, that's when things like the honey and cool things I find have really helped mine and keep it from getting too dry during classes. If you have to take a sip, do it quickly, preferably when the student is looking for a prop of their own to grab. But try not to do it on camera if you can at all, because they need to be seeing your mouth as you're talking so that they know how to pronunciate the words correctly. The other one would be if you have that head cold or some other mild illness that just makes you really tired, or your joints get really stiff and sore. This will also work if you have a chronic pain condition that is not severe, but it is moderate or mild. What you do is sitting will make you stiffen up really quick, okay? And when you are teaching your class, and the student is saying something, you move as much as you can, because the more you move, the less stiff your joints will get. So let's say we are talking about the word giraffe, and I have a giraffe puppet, okay? So I'm going to sneak my fingers into this giraffe puppet, and I will move my fingers around, and I will make the giraffe talk. Things like that. And then my hands are not getting stiff because they're getting to wiggle around inside the puppet. The kid thinks the puppet's dancing. It's all good. If it's your shoulders or your neck, you can take a stuffed animal, and like when you're using the cat voice, and you can use the cat and you can say, giraffe, meow, oh, I love the kitty, and you give it a big squeeze. You can move your head. You can squeeze it this way. And what that's doing is it's stretching you out, but the kid just sees that you're hugging and being affectionate with the cat. It's important not to take too much time of the lesson doing these things, but these are quick things to just help get you through that lesson. When you get to the end of your lesson, be sure and stand up, do your stretches, and make sure that your arms, rotate your shoulders, bend your neck, touch your toes if you need to before you go into the next class. Do a few little squats just to make sure that all of your joints are moving good. It will help keep you from being too stiff and uncomfortable during class, because if you allow yourself to get stiff, you won't be doing all of that motion that the kids need to see in order to be engaged in the lesson. The other thing you can do is, if the child is yawning, and in your later classes in the evening, you might catch a child yawning. If they look like they're tired, or you're teaching the word tired or sleepy or nap or something like that, you can stretch in the class and have the kids stretch with you. It gives you the opportunity to stretch. You can open that jaw nice and big and do a yawn. I'm so tired. Things like that, and just over-exaggerate your movements, because that will keep you from stiffening up, and the over-exaggeration is actually pleasing for the child to see. They enjoy it. Now, the other thing that often gets a teacher to cancel a class last minute is a headache or a migraine. And these things are very hard. You don't know that they're coming. And sometimes they can hit you in the middle of one class and you have another class coming. The best thing to do is, if you have two light sources like I do, and one of them is just right here off camera so that you can see the light, but the other one is up above so that it's not directly on your eyes, just flip off that direct one, and if it's still light enough, it's less of a glare on your eyes, and so it will help lessen the pain that your eye is causing, and so you can get through your lessons. That's the best thing. These are without taking medicines. I am not a physician, so I will not recommend medications, but if you have medications to take, try and take them before you go into classes. I have a few medicines that make me tired, so I have to take them the night before so that I can sleep off the fatigue and wake up feeling better instead. But not all medicines do that. There are over-the-counter medicines that don't have those type of side effects. Use them if that's something that you are okay doing. If not, try some of these other tricks that I have given you and see if they help, and just get you moving a little more, get you a little more awake. If you have a sore or scratchy throat, I want to go back to that for just a minute. The songs. If you cannot sing because you're in the process of getting laryngitis, so you can still talk, your voice is a little scratchy, but your vocal cords do not make the singing notes anymore. That's what happens to me most often. That's where the props really help, because you can use the props and dance with the props instead of singing if you need to, or if you're not musically inclined. So one thing that I use often would be my monkey. It is probably the biggest hit on my puppets with the kids. So the monkey comes out often. And let's say the song is London Bridge is Falling Down. The monkey, his mouth opens so he can sing it. And you just move around. You make sure you have a smile on your face. keep a smile on your face, laugh, clap. Make sure that even if you feel terrible, you look like you're happy, because that will actually make you feel better. If you're not staying focused on how bad you feel, but you're instead focusing on making sure that this lesson is fun and engaging and exciting for the child, it really will make you feel better during the lesson. So, if you can work through them and it's not something that is going to lessen the quality of the lesson, then by all means go ahead and try some of these things that I have mentioned to you. And try and stay healthy. If you eat healthier, especially when you feel ill, but if you're eating healthy, you're getting plenty of fluids, lots and lots of rest. Make sure you get plenty of rest, because you get sick quicker when you don't have enough sleep. So if you can do those things, you should be able to work through minor illnesses without it impacting your ability to do a quality lesson. And it will also keep you from having penalties that you wouldn't necessarily need to take. Now, there are some things that are a lot more serious, like surgeries and hospitalization, trouble breathing. These things you probably need to go ahead and make your cancellation. But if it's something simple like a head cold or the start of laryngitis, or just, a mild or up into moderate chronic pain condition, such as fibromyalgia, when it is not in a flare-up. Those are type of things that you can probably work through, and you probably have a good idea about which of these ideas will work best for you. Happy teaching, and stay healthy. Thank you.